Hi, we're here today at WATS with Anthony Petford. He is the Managing Director of Initio Aviation Training at Oxford Aviation Academy in the UK. And welcome, Anthony.
Hi, Joe.
Anthony, maybe you give us a little bit about your background and the background of Oxford Aviation Academy, and tell us how Oxford's different than some of the other academies that are out there.
Okay, well, my background has been in aviation since 1986 when I joined British Airways and worked as a graduate trainee and then basically stayed in the industry. I've done various things within the industry, and I'm also a pilot. I've flown the A320 and the Boeing 757, and currently I lead ab initio training for the Oxford Aviation Academy. And I've been doing that now for the last almost 12 years.
What's Oxford's different approach than some other academies? How would you differentiate yourself from some of the other ones that are out there?
Okay, first and foremost, our unique differentiation is the quality of the training that we deliver. And secondly, we have a global presence. We're able to provide airline pilot training all throughout the world. We're able to provide ab initio training, type training, and resourcing solutions to airlines, and both for pilots and for engineers.
Very good, very good. Now, I understand that you're one of the speakers at the convention here. What's the topic that you're addressing right now, and how does it pertain to Oxford and the customers that you have at Oxford now?
Well, my subject at the conference today is the multi-crew pilot's license. We're going to be the first training organisation to offer the MPL in UK airspace. And we plan to launch that in the late summer of this year with our partner airline, Flybe.
Maybe you could talk a little bit about multi-crew pilot licensing and how it's different than past approaches to getting a regular standard commercial pilot's license.
Sure. I mean, the traditional methods of training an airline pilot have been using single pilot operations quite extensively. For example, in the past one had to have 200 hours of single pilot operations to even be eligible to commence a type rating. Nowadays the hours have gone down to 140 hours in an aeroplane, and of course the MPL enables one to halve the hours in an aircraft again, and to substitute the aircraft training time for multi-pilot, more relevant, more applicable multi-pilot training time in high technology and synthetic training devices. And the evolution of the synthetic training devices is what helped the MPL develop rapidly over the past couple of years. Right. Maybe you could talk about some of the technology you're using right now, and does that have MPL built into it, those considerations, and have you developed the syllabus for it, and how do they work together? Sure. I mean, since 1989 we've been using pretty high fidelity simulators to do bridge training, taking students from single pilot operations to multi-pilot operations, thereby saving the airlines time and effort in converting their students onto time. More recently, we moved from the Boeing 737-400, we have two of those, and more recently for the MPL we've used a new EFIS CRJ simulator, which has been provided by Matronics to enable us, one, to do bridge training, and secondly, to meet the requirements of the MPL.
So one of the issues too recently has been transition to jet, and some of the challenges of that, some of the issues with older technology, like the fact that people have been flying 40-year-old Cessnas and are kind of accustomed to that type of track, but how do they make the jump? Is it with technology, and how do they do it, and how would the Academy enable them to do it?
I mean, it's a combination of the technology and the skills of the instructor. In order to convert our students between the single pilot world and the multi-pilot world, clearly we use multi-pilot simulators, but also the background and experience of the instructors is absolutely essential to make the greatest use of that technology to prepare them well for airline service.
Great. Let me ask you this question too, in terms of so do you think MPL should be a consideration for everybody, along with the standard approach that other academies are taking to a commercial pilot's license, but you should work with an organization, I presume, that has both in play?
Yeah, I think what characterised airline pilot training in the past was a heavy participation by the airline in supporting their students into airline service. Today we see a very different picture. We see the airlines much less participative, and what the MPL does, it enables us to get closer to the airlines again, because you can't actually get an MPL approval without a training organisation and the airline working together. So I think it's a step back in the direction necessary to enable coordination between training and the airlines to give them the type of pilots they want.
going forward in high technology flight decks.
What's it going to take to move towards the MPL? Is it some type of economic impetus, or what is it within an airline that's going to get them growing? Is it going to be a growing economy again, where they need a tremendous amount of pilots? What do you think it will be?
Well, I think the biggest convincing argument for the airlines is it improves flight safety. Because what you're doing is you're taking these young people and you're immersing them in multi-pilot concepts from day one, and by so doing you are definitely going to create a better airline pilot. Better airline pilots mean safer airline pilots, more rounded airline pilots, and that has to be a major plus for the airlines above all the other economic arguments.
And I guess the component too that the new jets are completely digital is something that students today take more to, and the technology helps them make that transition better.
Yes, I think that's true. I mean, not forgetting, of course, that these modern jets are still aircraft, and from time to time they do have to be flown manually. But yes, indeed, the high technology in which the youngsters work definitely prepares them better for training on these types of airplanes.
Great. If people wanted to get more information on the web about Oxford, where could they go?
www.oaa.com.
Anthony Petford, thank you very much.
Thanks, Jim.